different.
I am the world changer, coded by the blue storm. My number is 19, the power of all number. I am the master alchemist, the force behind the philosopher's stone. Skilled at the art of transmutation. I am the catalytic transformer of world consciousness and planetary living. I oversee the changes of the weather. I am the thunder that shatters your world systems. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies. It was I who caused the triple Aztec monuments of the Avatar archetype to appear in the ancient temple grounds. I oversee the morning and the evening stars. I behold the creator of the fifth sun, the present world. Sent forth am I to dwell among you, calling forth a sixth sun. For the great regeneration of the world's soul, to know me is to know your own power of self-generation. To know me is to know your own power of self-generation. Self-generation is power. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies.
All right. Greetings and in Lakesh. Welcome to Synchronistic Talk. We have another session. We are working on our shadow work series, and this session is entitled How to Eliminate Victim Mentality for Good. And this is going to be a really powerful talk. And I'm going to tell you, statistics show that about 80% of people sees themselves as a victim or victimizer of some sort of circumstance. So we want to talk about this because sometimes these are some of the blockages that are holding us back from greatness. All right. I want to first define what it means to be in the midst of synchronicity, which refers to the underlying cosmic intelligence that synchronizes people, places, and events in a meaningful and purposeful order. We experience synchronicity when an outer event corresponds with our inner perceptions or feelings. Ashe, and Asheo. All right. I also want to state that we're changing our concept of time. Time in the fourth dimension is the evolution of consciousness. And so who owns your time owns your mind. Change your time and change your mind. Change your mind and change your world. All right. And so in following the 13 moon calendar, and the concepts that I teach a lot have to do with the law of time and the 13 moon calendar. We're in the 12th out of 13 moons. So we're closing out this cycle in the next 28 or so days. Let's go ahead and bring this session into vibrational alignment so that we can get the message free and clear. The prayer of the seven galactic directions states, from the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us so we may know all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather. May their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. And from the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayum Hunaku Eva Maya E Maho. Ayum Hunaku Eva Maya E Maho. Ayum Hunaku Eva Maya E Maho. All hail the harmony of mind and nature. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. All right. Okay, so we're in the 12th moon, and we're in the white overtone wizard year or solar cycle of timelessness and supreme receptivity. We're in the crystal rabbit moon of cooperation, and what we call now the third heptad, where patience transforms conduct. The question that this moon asks, and I want you to ask yourself, is how do I dedicate myself to everything that lives? And when we do that, everything that lives dedicates unto you. This is how nature and the power of synchronicities works on your behold. The plasma is Celio, which is in the 21st position, right? The 21st plasma or day of the 28-day cycle, and is connected to the heart chakra. The heart chakra. The heart chakra is connected when the plasma of Celio, the radioplasma, and the heart chakra come together. It opens up the seventh mental sphere we call the hollow mind perceiver, where we discharge the mental electron and neutron at the center of the earth. All right. So with that being stated, that energy is synchronized with kin number 242, the white galactic wind, which states, I harmonize in order to communicate, modeling breath. I seal the input of spirit with the galactic tone of integrity. I am guided by the power of death. Now we say this 3 times to imprint it in our mind and heart and radiate it out into the cosmos. I harmonize in order to communicate, modeling breath. I seal the input of spirit with the galactic tone of integrity. I am guided by the power of death. One more time to lock it in. I harmonize in order to communicate, modeling breath. I seal the input of spirit with the galactic tone of integrity. I am guided by the power of death. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. So what you see working here is what we call the Destiny Oracle. And this oracle have 5 bodies. We are walking around right now with 5 bodies, an atmosphere of 5 bodies. We have a physical body, right? A spiritual body, an intellectual body, and we have an emotional body. And we have the soul in the center. We call the destiny kin. And all of them are working for our greatest good. So when we look at this and we say we harmonize with the vision in order to communicate the vision, is the first line. Through the spirit, the wind deals with the spirit. Modeling breath or modeling the divine spirit. The breath is the physical embodiment of the human body. So if we're looking for what is the spirit of the human, that would be the breath. If we want to talk about what's the spirit of the earth, then we're going to talk about the wind. Okay. So, so when we look at these different pictures here, these different glyphs, they tell us a story about what's happening in the physical aspects, what's happening spiritually to guide us, what's happening to challenge us in the intellectual body, what's challenging the spirit, challenges our free will, and what's happening on the emotional body, the transformation of energy on the emotional body on today, based on these glyphs. And so we take that energy and we input the spirit and we work with integrity. Now, integrity is the glue that holds everything together. Okay, integrity. So when we speak with integrity, we know that the spirit in our body makes anything that we come in contact with less than who we are. So if we have a challenge today, we know that if we know and believe that the spirit in us is really unmatched, right? We're able to at that point realize that we have power over the circumstance that may be before us. And this is how we resolve issues and show the power of the spirit in the human body. Okay, so very powerful. Let's read what it says about the second archetype, which is the high priestess, the high priest, the spirit. I am the high priestess, coded by the white wind. I enter your universe through the second light gate. My number is 2, the challenge of the wind. As it turns in every direction, harnessing the power of the word, let your tongue speak only what is glorious, is my challenge to you. For I am the lady of the winds, keeper of the mind tunnels, opened through crystal song. From my crown, my hair emerges as the top knot of the infinite. I am the holder of the spirit of prophecy. I harness the energy of breath, filling the body with vitality. The jewel on my forehead is the indestructible wisdom that illumines my every thought. Sent by divine decree, my command is always directed to your spirit essence alone. Listen for me, always when the wind arises from nowhere. All right, I say. All right, so the wind is the second archetype. So in the cosmology, the law of time, the 13 moon calendar, and what we call natural time frequency, you have to get on natural time. You know, artificial time is the 1260 frequency, the 12-month calendar and the 60-minute clock, tick tock, the 60-minute clock. Well, this is an artificial construct of time, which keeps us trapped in an artificial matrix, always trying to what? Beat the clock. And so with that, natural time is the 1320 frequency. There's 13 tones of creation and 20 solar seals we call archetypes. And when we put them all together, we get 260 kin. So of the 20 kin, the wind that we're talking about today, since it's kin number 242, is the second archetype in the 8th tone. Together makes 242. And so when we look at that, it's the wind is the archetype. Now, the qualities of the wind, it deals with spirit, it deals with truth, it deals with inspiration, and it deals with the wind. These are just some of the qualities that that you can look at. And I actually just got this right out of the Mayan Oracle. Okay. So it's right in there for you to read up on and understand the holarchic templates that these archetypes provide as a guide for us into enlightenment. Okay. All right. So now when we look at the qualities, those are positive qualities, right? Let's look at the shadow aspect. The shadow aspect is this: the individuals with this archetype tend to choose oneself as a victim. So the title of this is to end victim mentality once and for all. All right. So although this archetype is showing you the beautiful attributes of the spirit and the power of the spirit that it has to provide vitality, when one is down, right, in the lower frequencies, we might find ourselves in the shadows. Now, this is very important because if we find ourselves in the shadow has wisdom there. And in that wisdom, we can now overcome our blockages. Okay. Now, some of the things, let's talk about this choosing oneself as the victim. You know, and a lot of times like I said, 80% of people can see themselves as a victim. Now, what is going on here with the consciousness and the mentality of somebody who sees themselves as a victim? They're blaming someone else for what's happening to them. And this stems directly, watch this, from an individual that sees that the power of oneself, the power of their happiness, the power of their joy, it comes from somewhere outside of themselves. Okay, now the person who is moving through an evolutionary trajectory, they see that the power is inside of oneself. And so the person who evolves, they move through a process called self-acceptance. And with self-acceptance, watch this, we are accepting that I am the source and I am, right? I am the source and the creator of my own experience. Now, that's an evolutionary act, because everything that happens, we are saying that it comes from something inside of me, not something outside of me. So someone who is seeing themselves as a victim, you will always know, because they will blame something, or it will be some kind of conspiracy, or they will see that someone is looking, that something outside of them has caused their failure, that's caused their downfall, that's caused a certain problem to come their way. And truth be told, from this perspective, that the thing that we're seeing, right, that's outside the body is a projection and a reflection of what's inside. And so I really will give some advice here, that those of you that see things that are happening in your life, we need to look inside and say, this is showing up for me to address. Right? Now, what usually happens is we decide to judge it. So-and-so tried to do this to me. Okay? And so, or they did this to me, or this happened because of this person or that person, or this happened because my parents didn't take care of me like they should have. They didn't nurture me. They didn't protect me. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. And so things happen, right? And we can go even deeper into what is your past life karma? What kind of things happen, and what are you here to resolve? I always say that there are two main reasons I like to point out. It's not the only reasons, but the two main reasons that people incarnate. One, to clear up their galactic karma, and two, to carry out their galactic purpose. That's one of the reasons why I'm so amped about the cosmology, because it provides us with a galactic purpose statement to help us live and evolve through enlightenment. Okay, so with that, seeing oneself as the victim. Now, here's the interesting thing about victims, right? Like, they did a survey of people who were bullied, right? They asked the people who were bullied, how many of you that's been bullied has bullied someone else before? And more than 80% of them on this poll said that they had bullied someone else. So we bully people that we can, okay, for the most part. And when we look at it, if you look back in the old days, you have the man that went out and worked and came home and took out his frustration on his wife. The wife then took the frustration out on the children. The older children take the frustration out on the younger children. The younger children take the frustration out on the pets. The pets take the frustration out on the insects. You see, so this is how this is handed down energetically in the paradigm of what we call the forced matrix. So it seems like you have power because you are overcoming a less powerful being. That's not real power. That's victim and victimization. And the victim often becomes the victimizer. And that's setting you up for the next person that is more powerful than you to victimize you. So this vicious cycle that happens. Okay. And it's very important that when we adopt what we call the circumstantial persona. So when these circumstances happen, we take on a personality of the circumstances, and it resurrects a false self. Okay? And this creates illusions, and then you start seeing yourself as the victim instead of the victor. This is a big deal because a lot of people can't move forward because this is a huge block, because they think something outside of them is really holding them back. And what really, you're being propelled forward when certain things happen, because now you're in a position to address what happened, address what is there. And it takes courage to address what there, not judge. If you judge it, you're just giving it fuel for the feedback loop for it to return once again. The shadow aspect can show you that you're not a victim of circumstance, right? That you are in the greatest position to build strength, that you created this circumstance so you could get past it. And now, after you address it, you have power over it. And so that's one of the things that's very important here. Look at the shadow transformation, what it says. Learn to sense and experience your connection with the divine by acting on inspiration as it comes to you. So once you inspired, act. Don't wait, procrastinate, hesitate. Don't do none of that. Learn and experience your connection with the divine by acting on inspiration as it comes to you. I say immediately. When you're inspired to do something, move in that direction immediately so you won't cop out or procrastinate and then lose enthusiasm in the process. All right. So what do? What's some of you all's story? Do you see yourself as a victim? Now, this isn't something that we broadcast. I'm a victim. Usually our pride makes us think and makes us say we're in denial of that particular thing. But statistics show about 80% of people, 78% of people see themselves as a victim of circumstance. Even if it's when we're dealing with oppression, we're victims of circumstance. When we're dealing with different things, because here's the thing I want you to know. Everything that is outside of us that we're dealing with puts us in this force matrix paradigm. Okay. And it's not the totality of experience. It's not the absolute experience. So in order for us to be victorious, we have to see this is a way to address certain aspect of myself or ourselves. This is a way for me to become victorious and evolve to the next stage of my consciousness. And this is how we truly become liberated in our own right. We're not victims of circumstance. We're victorious over circumstances. And that displays self-acceptance in our life experience. All right. All right. So do you all have questions about this? Because to me, this is, as I've done all of this coaching, over 959 coaching sessions, or exactly at that, I really can see so many people that struggle with being a victim. I can't, here's how the verbiage sounds. I can't believe this is happening to me again and again and again. Why me? Why me? Well, why you is because now you got a chance to address this like never before. And it's going to build your confidence when you realize it's really just an illusion that you're projecting from the inside out, and you get to resolve, dissolve, and evolve it. While we're waiting on questions, I want to go ahead and talk about some quick announcements. Tomorrow night is our new kin orientation. Every Thursday night, not only do we do overview for the new kin, we also do a reading for the Destiny Oracle for that day. It's really good, done by Moon Goddess Ambrosia. So you definitely got to hear her. Very, very, very powerful. All right. So you could join us for that. You can copy the link and join us. And then on Sunday at 10:30 a.m., we have what we call Amplify Your Purpose session. That's going to be Universalizing Order Brings Endless Opportunities. That's a good one, because if we're able to put things in a certain kind of order, mean organizing our life, then we can really have endless opportunities coming our way, and we can prosper from those opportunities. And then on the June 24th, okay, June 24th, we're going to actually be, that's next Monday, we're going to be in our 260 kin Quantum Leap meetup. So what we're doing is make sure you have your kin number in a 10, because we're getting each kin as part of the galactic brain. So each kin, whatever your kin number is, we're going to get all 260 together eventually. And we're going to do a meditation on July the 7th. Okay. And when we do that, we're going to do the meetup on the 24th, 6/24/24. And then we're going to do a meditation on 7/7/24, July 7th, 24. And so the goal is to get all the 260 kin together so that we can unify and create the galactic brain. And when we meditate together, we're going to meditate into the cosmic mind for it to return a spiritual and physical equivalency in terms of individual and collective instructions on how to move into the new time. When we talk about moving into the new time, we have really crossed the threshold this year. This is the 441st year of the Gregorian calendar, which those of us who study the law of time and the hollow mind perceiver, the hollow mind perceiver is 441 codes to evolve into the telepathic human, or we call the synchronistic human. So those of us that are prepared and ready to move into that direction, we're going to be moving into the telepathic age and out of the information age. Many of us are trapped in the artificial matrix. We're God's trapped in an artificial matrix. This is how we get out. All right. So some other dates that are pertinent. Our next Seek Talk is going to be on the 26th. I talked about 7/7. Oh, also take a snapshot of this on July the 25th. We're going to have our Day Out of Time celebration in Atlanta, Georgia, at Cohen Park. So, get details. You can get details on our website. And for those advanced folks or those who aspire to be advanced, we're going to move down to Tuskegee, Alabama, to do our advanced discipline workshop from the 26th to the 28th to prepare for the new cycle, the new 13 moon cycle, which starts July the 26th. All right. So with that being said, back to the questions, the question. Let's talk about how to eliminate this victim mentality. And if you are not this, I know you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody about how to eliminate this victim mentality. I mean, when we are doing this, when we're saying that we're a victim of circumstance. Let me tell you some of the different areas that put us in a victim position. One, if you're a prideful person, right, you'll deny things. So it's hard. You can't even, a prideful person can't even recover from addictions because they won't even admit that they have a condition in the first place. They're always in denial. Okay. The next one is anger. An angry person will become a victim of circumstance. You won't be punished for your anger. You'll be punished by your anger is the best quote that I've heard. Okay. Desire is another one, because you think what you seek is something pleasurable outside of us. Okay. So we have that. And then we have, from that, we have fear. So if you have fears, you are in the process of becoming a victim of circumstances. These are all projections of something that is more powerful than the unlimited power in you. And that's the perspective. That's the paradigm that people get put in. Shame, guilt, all of these things create blockages and barriers from you being able to access the power of God within you, the abundance that's due to you. All right, we got a question from Eshe 211. What are some effective therapeutic approaches to dealing with victim mentality? First thing first is to move into self-acceptance, to declare and decree, I am the source and the creator of my experiences. And so that's an evolutionary act, because now a person in this state don't want to accept that, because it's the mindset at that time. But it's very important to move into accepting that, hey, I'm creating this. Let me tell you why that's important. When you admit that you're creating it, you now are empowered to correct it. Think about it. If something else is creating your circumstances, then you have to ask those circumstances, or whoever's creating those circumstances, nice circumstance maker, could you please stop creating these circumstances for me? And if it's a mean circumstance maker, they're going to say, no, I'm going to keep making these circumstances for you. That sounds silly, right? Right, because that's not really how it works for an evolved person, a person at a different state of consciousness. But for and that's neither good or bad. We've all been in this state before. But what builds our confidence is when we start facing our fears and saying, wait a minute, I got the power over this. I don't have to be afraid of this, right? That we can be disciplined over our desires. And food don't have to control us. Sex doesn't have to control us. Money doesn't have to control us. That we got something more valuable, right, inside of us that's far beyond money, right? Then anger, right? Anger is the need to control. Anytime I get angry, I say, Neb Teharka, what are you trying to control here? What do you want to control, and why? And do you need to control that? Okay. And then we get to pride, right? And pride wants to help everybody be like them. And then if they're not, then they become the enemy of the state. Right? So now we're locked into this matrix. And so we're going to be a victim in some way, because we're thinking the power is outside of us, and really the power is inside of us. All right. Another question here. One more. What are the potential impacts of victim mentality on one's personal and professional life? Well, it can make you operate in the spirit of fear. I mean, in your professional, and if you're in your personal life, right, it's hard to resolve issues, let's just say with your children or your family, if you always think that something has happened to you versus you creating what happens to you. You know, and so it can make a very it can cause you to be in a weakened state, or to appear such, and really it can make it difficult, like for children to respect you, or relatives to respect you, or even friends or non-friends. Because again, as soon as I tell you another example, they were saying that people who go fishing, that the fish can tell if you're fearful, so they don't bite, right? If a dog senses fear in you, they bite you, right? Because that can become a downward spiral, right? So in professional life, now if we think the job has the power, think about that, and you lose your job. A lot of people really think it's the end of their life. And so if this is something that happens, you get to address that, and you could become an entrepreneur at that point. You could become you could develop better skills at that point. You see, you get to address it versus it's defining you and who you are. The circumstance don't define you. What defines you is how you approach and how you address the circumstances that appear in your life. And if we take that approach, our confidence will be built, and we'll see, oh, that wasn't so bad after all. Oh, I can do this. Oh, I got more skills. Oh, I got experience through adversity. Oh, and oh, and oh. And then you'll just be able to naturally overcome things. It'll be like a blip on the radar. Oh, that's nothing. We'll go ahead and take care of that. Oh, that bill, I'm behind it. Oh, okay. Listen, all I need to do is talk to some more people over here, and that's going to be taken care of. All right. So really, really good stuff. I see there's another question from Ambrosia. What are some of the ways to approach and interact with somebody with victim mentality? They claim they want to be when they claim they want to be in your life. Well, that's a good one, because with the victim mentality, we have to see which level of consciousness they're operating at. Okay, so when we can find that, like, what are they dealing with? Did they got anger issues? Do their desires control them? Are they depressed a lot? Okay, and things of that nature. And so that will help you pinpoint exactly how to help them. Now, what I would do, there's two things that helps people. One is coaching, but oftentimes in this sense, this is where therapy is needed, because this is an actual block. So I'll tell you the difference that I see. People that need coaching, they already know how to do something. They just need to know how to do it better so they can speed up their results, right? So it's like expediting a process. But then you can't expedite something, okay, if you have a blockage. You're going to expedite and run right into a wall. Bam. Some of you ever feel like you run right into a wall? And we don't want to say anything because it's not positive thinking. It's not a positive thing to say. But when you ran into a wall, and now it's time to make a move. If I run into a wall, I just bang a left and let's see what's going that way. I'm going to keep bouncing around until I get past it. But not everybody's like that. All right. So you got to find what it is. And then, be willing to work with them where they are. Okay. Be willing to work with them where they are. They want to be in your life. Listen, you want to help them. And so you neutralize them. Now, let me tell you, another thing is a lot of it. So somebody comes in your life, is here for you to address. Now we must show this person compassion and empathy. Okay, whoever they are, we show compassion, empathy, and we feel what they feel, and we understand, and we let them know, hey, we can get through this. So a lot of times, this is really good. That's a really good question, because most people, did you know that most people don't really believe in themselves? Most people get personal growth and development. They listen to audios every day, and they don't really believe in themselves. Okay? So what happens is, the first thing is, do you believe in yourself? So if Ambrosia asked this question, right, I think Ambrosia believes in herself, but based on what I know about Ambrosia. And if you do, you got to let them borrow some of your belief so they can believe. You see, I tell people, if you don't believe in yourself, borrow some of my belief in you until you can have your own. And so you may have to humble yourself. If you realize you're a person that's dealing with victim mentality, you may have to humble yourself and realize and say, I need to borrow someone else's belief until I can get better at believing in myself. All right. So it's a touchy feeling, and they want to be in your life. They don't know how to get in where they fit in. And you got to bring them up through stages. You got to meet them where they are. You got to know where they are and meet them where they are. Now, I like the spirit of neutrality, so I can get them to trust that the universe is on their side. Because before you can get to self-acceptance, you gotta be able to believe that there's a larger power that's working on your behalf. You gotta have the willpower to focus. That takes some discipline. And then when you can get past that, now you can accept, wait a minute, I'm creating this and I can become victorious over that. Great question for Ambrosia. All right. Free Reality states, what can be done if you live with somebody that has a victim mentality? Well, that's a good question. Do you live with them or do they live with you? All right. It's a very good question, because again, Same thing, support, compassion, empathy, realize, try to help them strengthen themselves, try to help them be more disciplined and more orderly. Okay, try to get them around people that can show them, different reflections of themselves, glimpses of how they can advance themselves in the process. Okay, and I think it's very important. Another question from Free Reality: how do you respond peaceably to the blame game for those with victim mentality? Well, like I said, anytime you blame, there's one finger pointed at you. Now, blame oftentimes deals with it could deal with anger, fear. You're blaming something on someone else. So there's one finger pointing at them and three pointing back at us. Okay, and it's very, very, very important that they're gonna blame somebody who blames. They don't realize that they are showing that they are a victim of something. They're giving their power away. Okay, so it's very important that they get their own experience. Now, I like to someone who blames a lot, like somebody blames something on me. I say, okay, well, let's see, let's pull me out the picture, and let's see if this same thing that you're blaming me for happens again. And so 9 times out of 10, like clockwork, it's going to show up again. Now what's the problem? Well, who's the problem now? And then, well, it's still them. Well, let's pull yourself out of that position and put you in another situation. And you're going to have the same situation. Why? Because it's showing up in your reality to address, and you can show them eventually. You're going to realize that's just a reflection somewhere inside of you, and you get to address it so that it's no more. Right? So you can get excited about what comes versus, oh God, what did I do now? Now God is punishing me again. I serve a punitive God that punishes me. All right, what if the victim says they need help but won't help themselves? You got to teach them how to help. So I love that. That's a great question. You got a lot of leverage. You need help and you want me to help. Now I get to make the rules on how I help you. Right? So let's say, hey, I need $200. I need help. I'm in a bind. Okay. I tell you what, why don't I give you 100 and you get the other 100, or we work on getting the other 100 together? You see? So you got to get them to participate in their rescue. If not, they'll become codependent, and you'll be dealing with more of a codependency versus being able to actually resolve the issue. Okay? These are things that we got to do because they're going to depend on you. And if you go ahead and do it, they're going to keep coming back. People are going to do what's easiest, right? Before they do the thing that's going to help them. Before they do the hardest thing, they're going to do the easiest thing. They're going to look for the path of least resistance. That's how people think. But that may not be the best way to go. All right. These are real good questions. And I'm telling you, a lot of us, we have this victim mentality at some point, at some level. Why can't this happen for my business? How come every time I try to be on time, I'm late? How come this? How come that? And it's really showing you how to address it. I remember being in the military, and we would be hours early. And we would hate it. We'd be like, this is such a waste of time. We've been waiting here 2 hours for this inspection, 4 hours for this inspection, 6 hours, a whole day for this inspection. They made sure you wasn't late for the main thing. They had you heard that. That's the thing in the military, right? Hurry up and wait. And so they had it set up where you could not be late. For the most part. Now it happened, but it's hard. They make it hard for you to be late, right? So what is the point? It's coming up for you to address. And once you address it, now I like to address it and master it. So once you master something, you don't have to, learn it again. You've mastered it. It's like second nature now, right? You got some people some healers that can, this afternoon, I'm going to go and I'm going to help somebody heal themselves of cancer. And you got another person say, if they get cancer, oh my God, it's the end of my life. It's this and that and the other. You got some people that's had cancer, that's healed from it, that's helping other people heal from it. And it's just like a day at work now. You see? So once we start addressing things enough, we become masters of our own fate. And we have power over what we've mastered, what we have mastery over. It don't have power over us. So this is a great lesson on the path of enlightenment. And so it's so important. Do not allow yourself any longer. If you see yourself as a victim of circumstance, this always happens to me. Now we need to move into another stage of self-acceptance. So if you find yourself into this mentality, definitely reach out to me. I'll give you some things that you can do on your own. And sometimes it helps to be in a group. We have a group. There's all kinds of groups out here that are really self-help groups that work as a team together. And as you see that there are other people who are dealing with the same stuff that you are, and they're moving past it, then they too and you too will be able to become masters of our own fate together. All right. So those of you that were listening today, all you have to do is inbox me if you want to get a free consultation for attending the session today. Learn about your galactic kin. Learn about some details of how you can overcome victim mentality or help someone else do it. Definitely message me. It's been my pleasure sharing this knowledge with you, the shadow wisdom of the wind, the spirit, in the galactic archetypes for the law of time. And so you can email me at Neb Teharka at synchronistichuman.com. And so I will end with this by saying, in Lakesh, I am another you, Allah King, you are another me, Hotep, Hetipu, and Namaste. And remember, evolution is the solution. That's it for now. We'll see you next Wednesday. Peace.
It's just different.
I am the world changer, coded by the blue storm. My number is 19, the power of all number. I am the master alchemist, the force behind the philosopher's stone. Skilled at the art of transmutation. I am the catalytic transformer of world consciousness and planetary living. I oversee the changes of the weather. I am the thunder that shatters your world systems. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies, spies. It was I who caused the triple Aztec monuments of the Avatar archetype to appear in the ancient temple grounds. I oversee the morning and the evening stars. I behold the creator of the fifth sun, the present world. Sent forth am I to dwell among you, calling forth the sixth sun. For the great regeneration of the world's soul, to know me is to know your own power of self-generation. To know me is to know your own power of self-generation. Self-generation is power. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies, spies.